So this video is for people brand new to programming, and I just wanted to introduce you to a few tools that can be helpful for actually writing and running your code. Because sometimes I think for newcomers it can be a little bit challenging to find how, where to even start or how to even find a place to write and run their code. And it's just unfortunate that that is ever an obstacle for someone because it has nothing to do with the actual programming and it's actually pretty easy. So one thing I'd like to point out that wasn't actually obvious to me when I started programming, but now seems very obvious, is that a language, like Python for example, is really just something that was written by some programmers in some other language, and so at its core is just some source code that lives in some files. And that means it's not, built into your computer. You have to actually go to some website and download Python and install it on your computer. So I'll show you quickly how you can do that. It's super easy. You can literally just Google Python, go to downloads here, and press this big yellow download button. And it'll bring you to some installation launcher, and you can, run it and press OK a few times, and you're good to go. Super fast, super easy. But if you don't want to deal with that for whatever reason, if that's scary or annoying or just kind of a hassle, you can actually do something even easier. You can go to a site like this one, Repple. I'll link in the description. And you can just press start coding, go to Python, create REPL. And what it does is it creates what's called an IDE, an integrated development environment, that just runs in your browser. So you can just like write some Python code. This is just like on a tab in Chrome, and I can run it and it works. And it's just incredibly convenient. And so something similar here is a Jupyter notebook, which is slightly more involved. I run it through this thing called Anaconda, which I can launch in my browser. And once I've launched it, I'm at this similar point where I'm running this sort of IDE in my browser, and I can run some code and run it. And it's very quick, very easy. And the nice thing about Jupyter is you can, as you can see, it'll run in these sort of like segments. You can segment your code and move it around, copy, cut, paste, whatever. You can even like checkpoint your code. Lots of cool things you can do here. So I definitely recommend Jupyter for people who are more serious about starting out. So if you're interested in using Jupyter Notebook, I would recommend going to the Anaconda website and downloading the Anaconda package. It's really nice. You can just go here, hit get started, see all products. You might be intimidated by starting at 10,000, but this individual edition that has the Jupyter Notebook IDE and some other things for individuals is free. So I would highly recommend going and downloading that if you want to use Jupyter Notebook. Then a third place that I'd like to point you to is something called HackerRank. And HackerRank is a little more involved. You have to like actually sign up and get an account, although that's free and pretty easy. But what it does is it'll like give you a ton of different problems that you can do, and even sort of tutorials. And this one, for example, is like the first problem that you can do in Python, and it asks you to print hello world, as you've seen me do on some of these other ones. And so you can type your code in here, run code, and you pass if you do it right. And so this here is its own little IDE, and that's super nice and handy. One thing I'll point out about HackerRank is that it can actually get pretty difficult pretty fast. It's meant for pretty serious programmers. So once you get to like medium level problems, they can actually be pretty hard. And then one last thing that you can do, sort of more the old-fashioned way, is use something called a text editor. This here is something called Atom. There's other ones like Visual Studio Code, Sublime, is another good one. And then there's other ones you can do in your terminal. This is my terminal window. Things called Emacs and Vim are text editors you can run from your terminal. And those are a little bit more intimidating for newcomers, I think. So maybe start out with something like Atom, and it's literally just like Microsoft Word for coding. It would just like pull up some empty sheet and you can like write some code in it. It does some nice syntax highlighting for you, spacing and stuff. And I've saved it here as this path example.py. And so given that I have Python installed on my computer, I can run the Python command and pass in the name of this file. And I added the .py at the end of my file. That's the file extension for a Python file, so it's important to include that. And I can just run it, and it works. Alternatively, I could just type Python here on the command line in my terminal, and it'll take me to this little new prompt that will let me run some code inside it. And that works too. So I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in likes and comments if there's anything else you'd like to see. I have another video if you're interested in just starting out in programming. I have a nice little Python tutorial. But otherwise, thanks for watching and enjoy your day.